Welcome to the 19th Minute Podcast and FC. Oh, shit. My bad. It was a habit. What's up, guys? Welcome to the first ever episode of the SadFCDFans podcast. My name is Matt Duell, for those of you who probably didn't know that. I'm joined by my co-host, the Joe Martinez. Joe, how's it going?
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
And if you're listening to this, you probably know who our guest is for our first episode. For episode 1, who better for a podcast called the SadFCDFans podcast than probably the saddest fan of all. He might have taken over for me. You might know him. You might know him from the possibly defunct 19th Minute podcast. You might know him from Twitter at. What did I tell you about waiting until I introduce you to say a word?
I'm not gonna listen to you. You're gonna use my intro.
I thought it was Kenny's
This
intro.
is Alchemico.
Oh boy, shots are fired in on. You also know him on Twitter as El Químico, which I honestly didn't see the second I in that name until about 5 minutes before we started recording when Joe pointed it out. I was like, what is Quimco? Now I'm aware. And he's LAFC's #1 fan. Let us all hear it for Walter. How's it going, Walter?
Pretty good. And I don't know if it's a good thing to be called pretty much the peak SadFC fan. I'm just really angry. Maybe I'm angry.
You might be the angry FCD fan.
Yeah. Maybe I'll steal that.
I'll see you in court.
All right.
So we all kind of know each other. Walter and I obviously know each other from Twitter and the Twitterverses of FC Dallas Twitter and all 40 people that are on it. Walter and Kenny were nice enough to have me on the 19th Minute, kind of twice, really once. One time y'all did like fan call-ins, and I did that, and then another time I was a featured act. Still waiting on the check, but it's all right. I'll invoice you. And Joe and I have been friends since high school. It's been about almost almost 10 years that we've been friends.
Damn.
We didn't go to the same high school, just mutual friends. Yeah, I pay him monthly to have a conversation with me once a week.
Nice.
Joe knows Walter from, I think I recommended the 19th Minute podcast to him. You're welcome, Walter.
Thank you. And then I recruited him for my indoor soccer team.
Which,
for one season,
of it, was not a very good team.
No, it wasn't.
It was fun though.
This
was very fun.
Yeah, it just that was on a win really, because I really wanted to start playing again, and I normally play goalkeeper myself, but I kind of heard that Joe was kind of a big deal, so
it was the busiest Joe's ever been in goal. Let's just put it that way.
Yep, he's got his cardio in, man. Sadly, I couldn't pick him up for a second season. It was very sad. Yeah, no, I ran out of Gatorades and orange slices, and so my funds ran out. But
the sad truth is my knees are made out of plastic and paper. So
Joe is a great goalie. I'll give him that, to where he played, our indoor team with our friends. He was our goalie for a while. He would have about 3 or 4 saves per game that would make me scream and cuss from the bench in excitement. A lot of double saves, triple saves. He's a pretty big dude, but I call him El Gato Largo because that fool gets down there quickly. And I used to love.
That's an accurate description, though. I like that. I can second that.
I used to love to see the surprise on players on the other team or people in the crowd's face whenever Joe would just pull out like a worldie save back to back, and we were all just like, yeah, that's what he does. There's like 4 one-on-ones because everyone's at field trying to score a goal when we're winning for some reason, and then Joe's just left 2-on-1 and comes up with a save on a basically tap in. But so that's how we all know each other. So how have you guys been keeping busy without sports or life in general for the last couple months? Walter, how have you been keeping yourself sane?
I haven't stopped working through everything. So and then I'm also in school too. So I'm pretty entertained one way or another. So, but it sucks, and other than going to work, like I really don't go outside. It kind of sucks. It's depressing. I miss sports. And yeah, the German league kind of helps, but it'd be nice to go to a game.
Joe, how about you? What have you been doing to keep busy? Even though
weirdly enough, I've been pretty much the same way. I haven't stopped working since Corona started, and then I literally have watched more Bundesliga over this break than I have my entire life because there's really nothing else on, and so I'm excited for MLS coming back and FC Dallas coming back. But really, it's just been FIFA, the Bundesliga, and my laptop, and that's about it. And it's been very depressing.
I've been watching a lot of the American Cornhole League.
Yeah.
I bet away about half of my bank account.
So a whole $5, man.
$6.50 actually, sir. You gotta factor in the interest.
I see. No, I see. I see you. You're trying to, get that diaper money. I get you.
Oh yeah, that's they keep me busy on the weekends for sure, and then I still work. Like you guys, I'm fortunate enough to where I haven't had any change in the amount that I work. It's pretty nice to work from home and wake up 10 minutes before I have to start working and roll over and put on some pants and walk across the hallway. Every once in a while there's some traffic in the hallway, so I'm a little bit late, but it's inevitable. And watching some Bundesliga. I've always kind of been a Bundesliga fan just because I really don't cheer for any European teams whatsoever, but I like watching American players play just because it gives me a slight rooting interest. So Bundesliga is a good spot for American talent. Chris Richards made I was going to say 18, but I guess it's 20-man roster today for Bayern Munich, and he already has more league titles than any player in FC Dallas history, so congratulations to FC Dallas legend Chris Richards. Yeah, cornhole, Bundesliga, a lot of Korean baseball.
Oh, that's right. That is a thing, huh?
I think so. Yeah, I didn't actually watch it. That was a joke. The K League, and
that's what I'm thinking about. Yeah, the K League with the questionable fans in the stands. What did it end up being? Blow up dolls
I
or
thought the
something?
Serie A was the one with the questionable fans, the racist ones.
Oh yeah,
Kenny
the
and
racist.
I call it the RSL. It's the Racist Soccer League, and
Interesting.
now they just have to pump in fake racism chants and stuff to make the players feel comfortable. So, as you said, we're all excited for MLS to come back, and MLS, ladies and gentlemen, is back. And if you weren't aware,
Hashtag.
they put it in the damn name of the tournament. It's called the MLS is Back tournament.
MLS is Back tournament.
There's no confusion here as to what this tournament is. Although, I think we all wanted something a little more creative. Like, I wanted the Corona Challenge, sponsored by Corona Beer Company.
Corona.
Or the virus. I don't know if they have the financial backing. They're doing pretty well for themselves right now, though, so they might. The Quarantine Cup was another idea that I've been thrown out, but...
I like that one a lot.
Quarantine Cup, yeah. But the MLS is Back Challenge, or tournament. Sorry, I'll see that one from the top. 3, 2. The MLS is Back tournament. We'll fix that in post. Just kidding, I don't want to. 26 teams, all teams. Just a quick rundown of the format. You're probably familiar with it. 12 teams in the West, 3 groups of 4. 14 in the East. Nashville was the one they moved over to the East, correct? You guys know?
Yeah.
Weast. It's Weast.
Yeah, I saw their video. Yeah, the SpongeBob clip was great. I did love a lot of the different social media for each team posting some pretty funny MLS is Back content. The FC Dallas Peppa Pig one killed me, just because I have a stupid sense of humor, and my daughters are pretty big Peppa Pig fans, and so I'm a pretty big Peppa Pig guy myself.
There you go.
She doesn't usually talk about MLS though, so that's something they could talk in. But she's more of a Premier League fan, and she thinks Americans are shite. But yeah, so we had MLS is Back. So FC Dallas are in a group with Vancouver Whitecaps, San Jose Earthquakes, and guys, are we surprised?
Fucking Seattle.
Seattle fucking Sounders. As Dan Crook said, Seattle hates us already, and I like it that way, and I hope it stays that way until the day I die. Is that are you guys pretty happy overall with that group?
Except for Seattle.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Just because I'm tired of being lumped with them every time on something.
I think it would have been more fitting if they weren't in our group and then they just knocked us out in the round of 16. That would have been more realistic or fitting for.
Well, that's the tradition, isn't it?
Yeah, Seattle or
Mhm.
Portland. It's always the hipsters from the Northwest who knock us out each year.
Bastards.
But are you guys pretty confident that they get out of the group? Personally, I'd be willing to bet most things that I think they'll get out of the group, especially considering the four best 3 seeds get through out of 6 groups. So basically, if you win a game, there's a good chance you're going to go through.
Yeah, I think they can at least beat, I don't know, maybe San Jose. Just sidebar, are these games being played indoor or outdoor? They're being played indoor, right? Kind of level the playing field a little bit, I guess. I don't know.
No, they're all in the Disney fields. They're all outdoor.
Oh shit. Well, yeah. Then we'll beat Vancouver then.
Yeah, Vancouver. I don't know. It's hard to tell since we've only played 2 damn games of the season. As to we don't know who's good or who's bad yet. SC Dallas may suck for all I know, and I haven't played on the road yet. But I don't fear Vancouver. I don't fear San Jose. And really, Vancouver only ever beats us on the road with shitty turf. And same thing with Seattle and the atmosphere. Like, at home, I take FC Dallas to beat anyone at home, always. But, you know, in this neutral situation, who knows? Joe, are you pretty confident?
I think we should be able to get out of this group easily. If we're not if we're not in the top 2, we have to get at least a 3rd spot. I'm not afraid of Vancouver. They've been kind of
Mediocre.
pretty bad for the last couple of seasons, even though they just got a new big striker. But that doesn't fix your entire squad. And San Jose is one that's weird because of their pressing system, but that's still a team that we should beat. And then Seattle can go fuck themselves.
San Jose is really fun to watch tactically. I know we said before this isn't gonna be like a deep analytical soccer podcast, just because that's not who I am or whatever. But watching them play is super fun. To where it's, you know, the way he plays with his like man-to-man, basically. It's just like 11 guys covered. It'd be funny if they parked someone on the goalie too at all times, like you know, in like 7-year-old soccer before the offside rule comes in, you just have someone up there cherry picking. Just put the fast kid in front of the goal.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably why Americans don't ever develop at soccer. But anyway, sidebar. So yeah, like you said, Joe, top 3 is easily obtainable. You really just win 1 game, and you're probably gonna go through. I will say I did a
That's
little
probably
FIFA
going to be against
simulation.
Vancouver, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would say San Jose are probably the weak spot of the group. But like I said, it's hard to tell, really. 2 games into the year.
We'd be in the 5th month of soccer right now.
That's crazy. I know. I was thinking about that.
It's crazy to think like, oh, okay, this is technically going to be only their 3rd game of the season.
Like a whole non-transfer window ended in the time that we've been gone, basically. Which, I guess that leads us into another thing that we wanted to hit on was, before we leave the MLS's back, obviously after the groups, they go to knockouts. I couldn't find anything like a bracket that like detailed explanation of who plays who in the knockouts. I'm assuming that it's still going to be East and West in the round of 16, you know, to where the 8 teams from the West play each other and the 8 teams from the East. I don't know which group plays, you know, like if it was 4 groups in each, it'd be easier to guess, but I mean, at the end of the day, you're going to have to beat everyone. So I've never been someone who worries too much about who you get in this round or whatever, because at the end of the day, you're going to have to beat everyone else anyway. But it would be funny if somehow, some way, FC Dallas has to play Seattle again in the round of 16 and then gets knocked out. Or Portland will find their way. But, so yeah, then winner of the tournament gets a spot in the CONCACAF Champions League, the good Champions League.
The only Champions League.
Yeah, there's that European one. There's a European one, but who wants to watch that? I want to watch a hunter and do 2-foot a guy in the 2nd minute on a game on a Tuesday night with 98% humidity.
Yep. I want to see a waterlogged track field in Jamaica.
As long as you didn't say
that's
Trinidad.
that's where. Oh, that
I was
too.
about to start crying out of PTSD.
Around a track field.
Sorry. Yep.
Running.
Yeah.
Yeah, in fields that are in worse condition than what I played middle school soccer games on. And I'm not even joking. That's a serious statement.
I don't doubt it.
There's a beauty in this, though.
Yeah.
There's a beauty in that.
It's so pure. It's so
Yeah.
pure.
There's nothing more pure than watching a 5-yard pass jump 6 yards out of bounds.
which I expect to happen a lot in this tournament because everybody's going to be. I don't know. I just picture You remember the Houston game that got waterlogged?
Oh, that was
That's
one
how
of the
I
funnest
imagine.
things I've ever seen.
That I think that's the first 2 games for every team in this tournament.
Yeah.
It's just going to be. It's going to be fucking deer, like recently born deer
Even
on a
watching,
field trying to kick a ball.
Even watching like Bundesliga and stuff, they look rusty as hell.
Everybody. Well, imagine how much worse it is here in MLS. So.
Yeah, when you factor in quality. But according to Alexi Lalas, MLS teams could thrive in a Premier League, so we really got nothing to worry about. But yeah, like the conditioning is going to be a huge problem, and they're playing in Orlando in the summer, and there's going to be day games in the morning and at night. As Texans, we all know that sure it makes a little difference, but it's still pretty fucking hot, and the humidity in Florida is no joke. So don't be surprised to see a whole lot of muscle injuries the first couple of games.
It's going to be a lot of hammies, a lot of torn hammies.
Yeah, a lot of hamstring injuries.
Santiago Mosquera is going to start and be hurt by minute 1 because he can't stay in shape to save his damn life. So that was actually, Joe, you have the fan questions up, right? I believe there was one that was asking, someone asked about if we thought that FC Dallas would have an advantage due to the conditions, right?
Yeah,
I think
that's
so.
exactly what it was.
What was
Melanie
the
said?
Absolutely.
Melanie at Misspell 2 said, "Do you think that FC Dallas will have an advantage in Orlando due to the heat, at least compared to the other teams in their group?"
Well, Seattle and Vancouver and San Jose, are definitely not.
All coastal breezy teams. Yeah. And you think about, like you said, Matt, you think about how those teams play here.
Yeah, and they're dying.
And we tend to come out on top, and they're dying. So
second half, you always see FC Dallas kind of take over in home games.
Oh, that reminds me. I'm excited to see the water breaks.
Oh, yeah.
I'm excited for the water breaks, man.
No touching your lips on the bottle.
That's gonna be interesting.
They're gonna have.
Everybody has their like all in a signed bottle or whatever. So.
No, each bottle is just 6 feet long, to where that way it's designed to shoot water 6 feet, so that way you don't have to put your mouth on it. But yeah, I do think that the weather will definitely play in FC Dallas's advantage because FC Dallas is out there training right now in 90 whatever degrees every day in the sun, and teams in Seattle, Vancouver, and San Jose. San Jose, it's pretty much perfect every day. Seattle, I don't think it's gonna. It could. Florida rains a lot, so we never know. There could be a rainy game, but Seattle's gonna play in a real field. Someone did say that they were hoping New York City would be forced to play in the baseball fields at Disney, and I thought that would be the most. Don Garber should do it just to stick it to all the haters who complain about New York City's lack of a stadium. That would be great to watch them play on a Disney baseball field.
No, I want to see them fucking suffering on a full-size field.
Yeah.
But then again, I'm evil, so it's just personal preference.
The only big market team for you is LAFC.
My babies.
Dude, speaking of,
what are they gonna do with Vela?
Without
Huh?
Vela.
Without Vela, Vela's been.
Oh, he's still injured.
He's still injured, and he's also has a baby on the way. So he's been talking about maybe not even going just because of that.
They need him, but they don't need him. Kind of, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, they still have.
They're so stacked, it doesn't matter.
Andy Nahar.
Well, yeah, and then they're playing against Portland, and they're playing against Houston in that same group. So, I mean,
Houston sucks, right, guys?
Houston sucks. Houston sucks. I mean, it's a universal truth, right? I didn't make the rules.
Yeah, I don't make
Houston
monkeys,
sucks.
I train them. Who else? Who's the 4 team in that group? It's Houston.
L.A. Galaxy.
Oh
LA.
yeah,
Both
we
of
were
them.
all really shocked when that got pulled out of the.
Yeah, weird, huh?
Dude, when I said speaking
It's
of
not right.
LAFC, the guy in the damn draw was so annoying with his. He was trying to get a comedy job afterwards with we'll take it, with a little shoulder shrugs and working the camera. I think he was doing crowd work at one point. And then who was it? Oh, I think it was FC Drunk. Found out, looked through his Instagram, and it was him he was a San Jose fan before, and then it was another thing of him like congratulating the Galaxy and cheering for the Galaxy. So it's a pretty good representation of LAFC fans, I'd say. Like Walter.
Yeah.
Oh, gee.
But I mean, like, even if Vela doesn't play, at the end of the day, teams that are really strong, like your LAFCs, Atlantas, it's really just 3 regular season games he's missing. You know, like, yeah, if you win, you get a Champions League spot. But let's be honest, there's probably a pretty good chance that LAFC will earn a Champions League spot anyway.
Through supporter shield or.
Yeah, because this spot is just
something.
replacing the Open Cup, correct? I think that's what I read. Because there is no U.S. Open Cup this year.
Yeah. I think they'll probably use whoever won it last year, and I can't remember who that was. It Houston?
No, I think
That
that's
won
just
last year?
that spot is being replaced by the MLS's back tournament winner gets the Champions League spot for that, regardless of if it's an American or a Canadian team.
No,
so
you're right.
the ridiculous Canadian championship will still earn you a spot.
But you know who else can win this tournament? FC Dallas.
That's true.
That's right.
If they're ever,
I think. I mean, it's such a crapshoot.
yeah,
like-
exactly.
So.
Do we put a star over the crest if we win it?
Yes. Yes. Those new jerseys with the new sponsors will be shipped out next day.
Atlanta.
If Atlanta could count that shoddy ass tournament last year as a star, then I'm sure we could count this as a star too.
Wait. Speaking of Atlanta, did you see they sent out a press release that when they won that FIFA tournament thing, they're glad
Oh
they
my
don't
God.
have another championship because they won the
My
FIFA
God.
Pro-Am.
The only good thing out of Atlanta is their puppy cup. That's it. I mean, other than
Hell
that,
yeah.
just keep your Mercedes-Benz Stadium, even though it's really nice and I want to go there. But whatever, man.
And I use it as
Even though it's constantly filled with fans and they actually have a good team.
And
FC Dallas was
concessions and
FC Dallas were visionaries, man. We've been playing with no fans for a long time, and the rest of the league. That's
We're
another
used
advantage.
to the crowd noise.
That's another advantage we didn't factor in. Teams aren't used to playing in silent stadiums. FC Dallas is going to have that advantage going in. Houston could maybe give them a run for their money. Colorado.
Colorado.
Yeah. Walter's been to Colorado. What was that game day experience like? Do you remember much? Or were you too
look,
stoned?
no. I tend to be pretty sober before the game. Now, what I do after is none of your business.
Even the dollar beer game?
It's well, it's because you were actually there. So,
That's true.
I mean, I personally have good friends extending back in Colorado that are Rapids masochists to begin with. Colorado's beautiful, man. I'd suggest that if you've never gone to Colorado
I think it
or
was the
much
last
less gone to a
vacation I
Rapids
went on
game,
was Colorado.
yeah,
Like
go to a Rapid. The stadium is a notch above ours because there's actual shade on the on the eastern and western sides. But I mean, yeah, man.
They are
It's
super
great.
similarly built, the stadiums.
Yeah, very.
It's literally just shade, but they almost look like the same template. Like
Oh no, yeah. Except ours is below ground and theirs is above ground. So
the oven. Remember when that was the nickname for Pizza Hut Park? It was a clever one. And then I remember when there was actually that Pizza Hut next to the stadium, next to the hotel. I used to love watching people whenever they'd be stuck in that parking. I don't know if it's still there. I think they closed it.
I think it's still there.
Is it? I don't know. I never park over there. But it's funny to watch people just jump the curb and go into the hotel parking lot instead of sitting through the traffic to get out of that parking lot. They would just go through the back, and dudes in SUVs are jumping curbs and shit to just get right on.
They still
the
do
whole
that.
way.
Yeah,
They
people
still do that.
Yeah.
It's
I'm gonna
funny.
try that in a Miata and just total the car.
Do it. You deserve a new car.
Yeah.
My 96 Corolla just fucking breaks down.
Hey man, let's not disrespect Toyota. This is an FC Dallas podcast, and I'm trying to get some sponsorships. So take it easy there. They're a big one of the team.
So Pizza Hut, if you're listening, and then what's over there? Blue Goose and cigar shops.
Oh yeah, the cigar shop.
Anyway,
The Frisco Public Library. If you guys want to sponsor the show.
heck yes.
That was also
So
the
in
site
terms
of
of,
the. What's up, Joe?
Sponsorships, who's going to be the next sponsor in the front of our beautiful T-shirts, our beautiful jerseys, excuse me.
You guys had a couple good ones. Joe, what was the one you suggested?
I thought Herbalife would be a great,
Yeah, that would be
great
good.
replacement for where
Just for the
Advocare
band.
used to be.
Just for the bands, just a
Yeah.
giant double bird to the world. Just put 2 pyramid schemes on your jersey.
Next to each other, yeah. On the
Put
sleeve and in the
Cutco
front.
knives on the front, or Mary Kay.
Mary Kay.
I mean, Mary Kay would make so much damn sense.
That's a local too, you know. We gotta get
Yeah.
in the community.
Baylor. Ugh.
Forex. Walter, what was Walter? You had a great one.
No,
Come on.
no.
The Dallas Police Officers Association.
The Dallas Police Officers Association.
After the Fort Worth
God.
Vaqueros made probably the most tone-deaf move in the history of soccer.
Not to be outdone, The Dallas Police Officers Association.
You know what's funny is I quoted their tweet and said something about how it was just completely tone deaf, and I looked through their Twitter and they were literally just copying and pasting the exact same response to every single person who called them.
Oh, yeah.
They were like, "Oh, we understand your concern, but they're a big part of." Well, I didn't even read it all. I was like, yeah, whatever.
I would have paid money or refunded the money that they put in to be in that draw just because, like, I don't know, man. If they can pull
was a
cops
draw.
off the air after 32 seasons, huh?
It was a draw they did?
No, yeah, it was a draw. It's a draw. It's a random draw that they do online. Basically, to pull of sponsors, and you have one person pick it from a bowl.
You think the guy who pulled it out of the bowl is like, let's go ahead and put that right back in there. Let's go. Or take round two.
I just don't know how you can, man.
Do you think he pulled it
Tone
and was
deaf.
just like, oh, shit.
Well, it looks like it's going to be Buck's Cabaret.
Well, it looks like everyone's becoming Denton Diablo fans this year.
and I mean, not to take too much of a political thing, but you think about the demographic in Denton. They have a rivalry with Denton, and Denton is very vehemently anti-cop right now.
Yeah. Joe's a UNT guy. He knows all about.
There you go.
the
I used to live
dirty
in
deed.
Denton, so.
Oh, really? I've only been
Yeah.
like twice. That was enough. That's the Dallas snob in me.
Well, there's a reason why I'm back in Dallas, so.
Walter and I ran into each other at a Popeyes once, both on our lunch.
How many
breaks.
times have we ran into each other randomly?
That was the first time that wasn't at an FC Dallas game.
No, I ran into you at your work one time,
Oh yeah.
and then there was another time I ran into
Wait, was
you. I
this
don't
one?
remember.
Oh, when I worked at Academy. Yeah. And you took a picture of me and sent it to me in DMs. It's just the side of my head from far away. I was like, that's not creepy, but I appreciate it. It was a good picture. I made it my Tinder.
It was a
profile
very good picture. There you go, man.
I'm just kidding.
Hard work. Work hard, play hard.
I thought you were talking about whenever I used to work at Cane's and I used to just hook people up with that Cane's challenge.
Man.
Shit, I'd give it to them 3 days after if they just said something about FC Dallas. I was out
Apparently you couldn't get the Caniac combo. I had this lady tell me about 3 times.
I'm not giving you no
You
damn
couldn't get the
$12.50 meal for free. Get the hell out of here. Shit, I'll give you 2 favors.
Anyway.
You want to come in? And
Well. Anyway.
That was meant to be.
Mm-hmm.
It was a double bird reference, not something else. So, but my sponsor idea was similar to the Police Officers Association. I thought if we're gonna go tone deaf, let's go even worse. Let's just be sponsored by the biggest pyramid scheme of them all, COVID-19. Because you give it to one person, they get a couple people to join, they get a couple more, and before you know it, you got a big old. And each team, instead of everyone wears number 19, and instead of their names, they just write COVID on the back of your jerseys. Similar to how they're doing it in the Premier League, but
Yeah, I don't think I can go back to the 19th minute after COVID-19.
that's true.
I think we're going to have to change that.
You guys can still use my idea of being a Bundesliga-based podcast of the 19th minute.
19.
You just got to choose a random team to support. I've had fun watching Carlos Carrezo play soccer again for the first time in years, or however long. It's been a year, I guess. I missed watching him just destroy shit in the middle with no regard for humanity. Dude looks like he kicks puppies for fun. Like, I just like walk by him when I used to go in the locker room. I was kind of like, I don't want to mess with that guy. I don't even speak the same language as him, but I don't want to cross him.
Well, yeah, he always had the male equivalent of a resting bitch face like that. That's the one dude you don't want to mess with.
Yeah, because he'll kick you. Or
Yep.
I wouldn't be surprised he pulled a shank out of his sock one game and just flip the guy right in the middle of the circle. VAR and MLS would probably still not catch it. There is VAR at the back tournament, in case you're wondering.
Good to know.
There's just one camera though, because they couldn't afford to ship that many or to fly in.
They
that
couldn't
much
steal like the
equipment.
700 surveillance cameras at Disney World.
Oh, that's true. They have facial recognition scanning on each player to where they can tell who's out here committing crimes and stuff. So we Advocare. Another thing, if anything I've learned from being an FC Dallas fan over the years is to never get your hopes up for news tease in the middle of the day, because it always lets you down. Like, oh, what's the big news? Oh, Advocare's moving to the sleeve. Okay, cool, dope. Yeah, really big breaking news there, guys. Although I gotta say, the new social guy is killing it lately. And I talked to him a little bit. Seems like a nice dude. and he seems like he's a big fan of the Matt Hedges is my Lord and Savior bit. So maybe he'll set me up. He said he would if Matt Hedges scores a goal in the MLS is Back tournament.
By the way, that reminds me. Are you the guy behind
No.
the FC_Hedges?
No.
I saw that. I'm like, man.
That is.
How did you not?
They sent in a question, and I was going to bring that up and say that that is not me. I know what you might be thinking, but it's not me. It's a guy. I'll arrange a meet and greet with him so you can see it's two different people. Joe, you have the questions up. What FC_Hedges did have a question, I believe, correct?
Yeah, so FC Hedges said, what changes will be made when Jara comes into the team?
That goes into another topic I wanted to hit on. They announced officially Franco Jara, even though, I mean, we've all known for a while, but he's here in training. I saw the Instagram post from him to where we've known he's been here for a couple of weeks. But he's eligible to play, and MLS is back. And I think, yeah, that's a question that a lot of people. I think there was another question that was kind of similar about him being back. What the team's going to do? There's no way they're not going to start him. I would assume based off of how much he's going to be making. They wouldn't have brought him in to, come off the bench. What do you think, Joe?
Well, I mean, he is going to be a DP signing, so I would hope that we would be starting him. But, our track record with DPs haven't been that successful lately. But Jara's going to be basically, if you want to know what kind of player he is, he's going to be exactly like Cobra, but just better.
Yeah.
He's going to be the same build.
A little more prolific.
The more prolific. He's going to be the same build. He's going to have the same strengths where he's strong in the air, a decent first touch, can play it out wide to whoever's going down the wing, and he's a good hold-up player, but he's a way better finisher than Cobra is, and he has scored roughly about 70-ish goals for Pachuca and was the highest goal scorer for that club. So he is going to be somebody that should be doing good.
Yeah, his goal record is really good. It is worth noting that a lot of them do seem to come from penalties, and I was wondering, I wonder if they'll bump Reto off of penalty duty for him. Probably.
That's definitely going to be something.
It would be nice to have an offensive player actually take PKs.
Reto's
for
pretty
ones.
solid though.
I mean, he is. I'm not saying he's not, but
yeah, but it is kind of lame when a center back starts up. Might as well just throw the goalie in there for the bants. Go on.
Sorry,
Joe.
but I was thinking because having a 10-goal scorer on FC Dallas is extremely rare. But he's basically noted he's scored about 15-ish goals for the past 5 seasons for Pachuca, except for one season where he was pretty poor. But I would at least think for the rest of the season, or at least maybe this tournament, he should have some goals. I would think he has at least 10 goals for the season. And if not, then, well, he's going to be another one of those signings where he doesn't really live up to the name. Although he is turning 32 when the tournament starts.
Yeah, I think they had a typo.
We are getting his last couple of seasons.
I think they put a typo on the tweet yesterday about when his birthday was. I think it's in July. And
they said
that it was
June.
June. Yeah. Yikes. But Walter, what are your thoughts on Franco Jara?
I mean, Joe kind of hit the nail on the head with that. I mean, if you watch Liga MX, I don't know how much you guys watch. I personally haven't watched it, but I mean, he's up there. That's constantly mentioned. Like, you got Gignac too. That you kind of compete against, and if you're able to be that much of a star in Mexican soccer, when you have people like Gignac on there, then he's not anybody to just kind of just scoff at. The age kind of kills it a little bit for me, but I mean if he's a forward and he's not playing in the middle, he's not doing too much running, he's prolific, he's a good target forward, then by all means, age doesn't really matter in that aspect. But I mean the counterpoint would be, do they move to a 2-forward system? Do they stack one on top of the other? Because I mean, the kind of the conversations that we had, at the beginning of the season and before the season started was, well, Cobra was on a hot streak at the end of last season, and you kind of just don't brush that off and say, it's just a streak, it was a fluke. What happens in that aspect? I mean, I don't know, because we haven't seen really a strong 2-forward system in a really long time at FCD. I'd like to see that though. Especially with having a pretty decent midfield, you would think you'd be able to execute a 2-forward system, have at least some targets in the box, and see what happens, spray and pray. But you can't just brush Cobra aside, I think.
Yeah, exactly. I do think that a lot of a lot of who Lucci is his system, and his system is possession based, and usually possession based doesn't necessarily coincide with 4-4-2s, and when you think of 4-4-2s, you usually think of your Brexit fish and chips, booted into the stands, long ball it to the big guy up top, and with two strikers who are, like you guys both said, are pretty similar. In fact, they're about as similar as you find in two strikers. I do wonder how those two guys could work together. I do think it's something you have to try, though. You have to at least try it. Cobra is people, are so quick to during the offseason, we need a number 9, we need a number 9, and I think a lot of that just comes from years of not having one. But if you look at what Cobra did at the end of last season when actually getting minutes, he was the most consistent striker FC Dallas has had since probably Jeff Cunningham. As far as goals per 90 minutes and stuff like that, he was up there at the top of the league for goals per 90 minutes. Sure, he's probably going to be a little streaky, and he's not going to be a guy that's going to completely impact a game for 90 minutes, but he's going to be a guy that pops up here and there, and he's going to give you every damn drop of anything that he has when he's on the field, and he inspires others. Every guy on the team will tell you that how much Cobra is loved by the team and how much he means to them.
He's got that energy, and that's something that you gotta think about outside of actual talent and skill is, how much does it bring on and off the field? How many times did we reference that gif of him slapping, who was it, Reggie's hand after a celebration or what was it, or something like that? And then yeah. So I mean that's the kind of energy you want. Franco is not that way. He's more of a I'm going to show you what I got with my skills. So what happens. I'm a fan of the 4-4-2 system personally. It's tried and true, and that's up until recent history what kind of the norm was. But you got teams like Portland and Vancouver in that group who are shaky at best. Defending, having two threats at the end of the field isn't necessarily a bad thing to try out.
Plus, I think we've seen in the past that Cobra as a super sub wasn't that effective. At the beginning of last year, whenever it's kind of hard for any player to make an impact when you're throwing them on in the 80th minute. It's like, dude, we need a goal. The other team is parking the bus. Go out there and score a goal. Anyone who's good enough to just come on and score a goal in 5 minutes wouldn't be playing for FC Dallas, it's not like you're throwing Messi on the field. He's like, all right, I'll just go score a goal. If he was that good, he wouldn't be playing in MLS and he wouldn't be playing for FC Dallas. Guys need minutes to, make an impact. So I do think maybe that factors into thinking of Cobra as a super sub. That he wasn't very successful in that role. It could be apples to oranges comparing now to then, since he's a different player now in terms of his confidence, and maybe things could be different this time. I do think FC Dallas's weak spot, I thought it was their real position of need more than striker, was that second winger, the left, I guess you'd call it left wing. They switch.
Yeah, probably the left side.
Yeah, because you got Mikey on one side, and it seems like they're rolling Fafa Pico out there. I think they're pretty close to done with Santiago Mosquera. It seems like they're kind of seem to be waiting him out a little bit. And I think if you go to 4-4-2, that could maybe give you a chance to play Paxton on the wing. He's a good defensive player. 4-4-2, the wingers have a little more defensive responsibility than when you're playing three guys in the middle. And I think Paxton could be really good as that second winger. Who they play in the midfield is something I think Thiago Santos was really, really strong. And I think that was pretty universally agreed upon by everyone. And, Brian Acosta's back now. He missed the first couple of games of the season because he's hurt. I would imagine that they want to start him, but Tanner Tessman was pretty good in his time. Yeah. So, they have options, which is a good thing, and something that maybe we're not so used to in terms of there's 14, 15 guys on the team who are probably good enough to start, but, you got to narrow it down to 11. There will probably be plenty of squad rotation in this tournament.
Yeah.
With conditioning and games, I think, are going to be played. I think they said 3 games within, I forgot how many days they said.
6.
No, not 6. I think it was
12 days.
I think it's 8.
Something like that. 8 sounds too close. I want to say it was maybe even closer to 14 when I read because I think I remember thinking it would be like a I don't know, but there's a good chance we're gonna have some afternoon weekday FC Dallas game, so y'all start planning your PTO accordingly.
Well, that's also yeah, that's also why I'm excited about signings, because it's going to allow for more rotation than we already have. Because
Mhm.
you know, we also want Pepe to get some minutes too, even though we
True, I
have two
forgot about
strikers
him.
ahead of him. And then the reason why I think we still stick to that 4-3-3, or maybe even go to like that 3-5-2 that we've been hybriding with, is because FC Dallas loves to have those three midfielders, and you have Acosta, you have Thiago Santos, and you have Pamecol, who are all players that you're going to want starting at all times, and you'll rotate that kind of midfield with Cervania and Tessman and whoever else is just behind them.
One person we haven't mentioned is Jesus Ferreira, who's got to factor
Oh,
in
Ferreira,
here
there you go.
somehow. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know.
And are we going to still experiment the camp spot with him?
Exactly. That's what I was gonna say. That's what I was about to bring up. Is I think the move for Jara kind of moves. It seems like Lucci kind of likes Jesus more in that 10 role, you know, than the striker position for now. I think personally he's probably got a better ceiling as a striker, just because I think his movement in the box for someone his age is really impressive, and I think he's a good finisher for his age. The size thing is something that is gonna hurt him a little bit, so it probably plays into the maybe him being more of a, you know, kind of a second striker. If they're going to play two strikers, I think Jesus would be a really good guy to be a second striker as opposed to playing Cobra and Jara up top. We're similar in style. I think a guy like Jesus is the kind of guy you want as a second striker who can kind of drop under, you know, break some passing lanes. You know, Jesus is a good passer, and whenever he played for the U.S., I don't know if you guys watched the friendly where he got his debut. I believe they lined him up as a striker, but he was dropping everywhere and just spraying passes all over the field. But I don't know. Yeah, that's like Joe said. There's options, which is a good thing. Depth is a good thing, especially when you have a lot of young guys who are going to be. I mean, Franco Jara has 4 caps for the Argentina national team. You know, that's pretty big. That's a pretty big, pretty good thing to have on your resume. And I'm sure he's got a lot of knowledge to pass on to guys like Ricardo Pepi and Jesus Ferreira.
Yeah, and even though he's in his waning years, he's going to be a player that elevates the ceiling. I think we don't really have any players that into FC Dallas that do that when they come in, but he has at least that talent that will elevate our ceiling. And whether he comes in for 50 minutes because he's just trying to get his legs back, or if the starter, I think having these options is going to be good for us. And especially in this tournament, we're going to be rotating and just kind of tiring out teams with our conditioning and our passing. So I'm excited. I'm actually really excited that he's on the team, even though it's not really a high-profile level signing, or I believe maybe 95% of people know who he is, but he's going to be one of the more talented players that we have on this team.
He definitely has one of the best resumes of anyone FC Dallas has signed in a long time. And I mean, we know what he can do. We saw it firsthand in 2017, and those still heartbroken about the CONCACAF Champions League semifinals. Did he score in both legs or just in the first leg?
I know he scored in at least one. The one here, I think, is the one
here. And I think he might have scored in the second leg, where Chris Seitz forgot how to handle a cross twice. Sorry. I know he's a good guy. My bad. People don't.
Jara scored, I think, 6 or 7 goals in that entire CONCACAF Champions run for them.
Yeah, Dan Hunt had the quote saying where he's like, after I saw him basically kick our ass, I was like, I want to do everything I can to get that guy.
I like how in the intro video that they use like the goals he scored on us like as part of his reel.
Yeah.
Those are the only ones they had rights to.
That was weird.
Whenever we couldn't we only used half the stadium for a fucking Champions League semifinal because we couldn't sell the tickets. It was half the stadium, and the Hall of Fame was under construction at the time. SadFCDFans. All right.
So who do you guys think will who'll score the most goals for FC Dallas in Orlando?
Oh, yes, that was the other question that I connected to.
That's by Marcus Cole.
It's hard to tell just because we don't know what Lucci's going to do. But I think it has to be. All right, if you're going to make me be a betting man.
And then if you go bold, how many are they going to score? How many are they going to score? 2?
Shit. Okay, so they're going to play at least 3 games. Also, I kind of have to predict how far FC Dallas is going to go here, really. Matt Hedges is probably going to score about 12. I'm just kidding. I'll go Cobra, and I'll say I'll go 3. I think FC Dallas will lose in the Western semifinals, so they'll make the Final 4. It's a pretty good run for them.
Joe?
I think it's going to be weird, and I think Jara's going to come in and score 5 goals.
Oh,
I believe he's going to come in. He's going to get maybe 1 or 2 games where he scores about 2 or 3 goals, But I do think our most important player is going to be Mikey Barrios. I think after the 70th minute, he's just going to be that engine that just runs past everybody, and he's going to have plenty of setups where I think Jara's going to be the one coming in finishing them. So I think he gets 5 goals. That's my prediction.
Jara 5 goals, but how far does FC Dallas go?
I think the semifinals.
Same as me.
I think we're that good. Yeah, I truly believe in this team.
Oh, wait,
I don't know
wrong.
why, but
not the West semis, the semis. So they're gonna be in the Final Four, is what I was saying.
they're gonna be in the Final Four. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So it's semifinals. West semis would be the round of, or the quarterfinals. So
I think we'll be in the top 4 teams in this tournament.
Oh, Walter.
Yeah.
That's bold.
Cobra Jara.
Reto with 4 goals.
You
They're
know,
all going to
actually-
be PKs.
Ooh.
That's really not a bad
Oh, 4
prediction.
PKs.
'Cause He's gonna
One
get
free kick.
penalties. He might get a
It's
free
just
kick.
you're gonna get a lot of sloppy play, I think, in the back too. So it's
If you
and you
go ahead.
no, I was gonna say it's you. Last time we played San Jose was what 5-4, sloppy defending on both sides.
Yeah.
Is that where the guy put the ball right into his own net?
I think so.
That's where Vega couldn't
Fucking
control the ball. And
Francis,
just,
Stupid Vega.
Francis Atuahene scored a outside the foot curler. It was the most
Yeah.
random goal scored by an FC Dallas
Yeah.
player in history. It's
Yeah.
the only time he ever played, and he just goes out there and scores a worldie and then never played again.
It's tough to make these predictions because like we said, it's such a freaking crapshoot because everybody is rusty.
That's what's so fun about
Some
it.
of-
Though. That's what's
it's just-
exciting.
Yeah, I guess. I think we get eliminated round of.
16.
See, I don't know. I mean, quarterfinals. But I don't know. I don't know how the fixtures are if we
Yeah,
get
that
into the
makes
round
it
of
hard.
16.
I'm assuming you only play West teams until the final.
Yeah, because I
not
was
sure
looking at the graphic and it doesn't tell you.
Yeah.
You know, like A1 plays this one,
Exactly, yeah,
or
that's what I was trying to find.
so quarterfinals eliminated. I think
So-
I don't know. It's we can very possibly win silverware out of this shit. Like it's such a crapshoot.
But who's your top scorer? You said Reto with
Retzo with 4.
4. Better hope we get
Yeah, that's crazy.
Baldomero Toledo to give some shoddy penalty calls.
Oh man, that's another thing too. These refs are gonna be rusty as fuck too. So it's
Yep.
they're already terrible to begin with.
I was gonna say you're implying that they were in good condition before.
No.
That's one thing I've definitely missed quarantine is angrily tweeting at the pro referees account. I've been doing it during quarantine just to stay sharp. I've been cussing them out.
Just keep your fitness up.
Yeah, I said that I went to a local pickup game and was just heckling from the crowd just to stay in shape. I got to keep my brain sharp. I yelled "You suck" at a group of 6-year-old girls having practice the other day while driving. So Reto with 4, and then quarterfinals. Wow, Walter, you're the downer. Shocker.
This is
Weird.
True.
Weird. Real.
You know,
The
I
real
think
SadFCD.
I may be way too optimistic, but I think we do pretty well in this tournament. I just think
I do
if
too.
we're used to this Texas heat, we're used to playing in empty stadiums, and we have just a lot of rotation players that are all pretty much the same level, to where even if you take one person out, you can put somebody else in. We'll still
5
be
subs.
good. 5
Keep in mind.
subs. I
That
just think we
completely
have a good
changes
team.
the
Yeah.
game a little bit. You know,
Yeah,
5
it
subs.
changes the game. Yeah, that's half of your squad.
In
Like that changes everything.
In the other leagues, we've seen the 5 subs kind of favor the big teams like Bayern Munich, who can afford to have 16 basically world-class players in their roster. In MLS, some teams will have a better top half, but usually depth is where they have to make some sacrifices. So I think the 5 subs could maybe play into some of the teams like FC Dallas who have more options. You know, it could play in their favor.
Yeah, it'll benefit teams, like us, like SKC, LAFC,
Around.
but it could hurt teams though, like LA Galaxy, Portland, and Minnesota. I think that's another thing to add to the crapshoot. But hopefully, like the thing is too, you gotta if you're a player, you're a Lucci. I mean, these games still count towards the season. So I mean,
Yeah, the first 3.
if you're thinking long shot, then you got to balance. Okay, how worn down do we want to get from this tournament, and then try to get points now rather than later, or how do you balance, your team to do well enough in the tournament to not be too low on the table, and then play out the rest of the season. However that's going to go.
That's another thing, though. They said they're going to start the season, continue the season after the tournament, but they didn't give any dates on that, so we have no idea how long of a, break between the trademark MLS is back tournament and
Yeah, because the tournament's supposed to end the second week of August. I think I saw it was like August 10th or
Something like
11
that.
is
Yeah,
the
I think
final.
11. I think 11. Yeah.
Is the final, and yeah, there's nothing after that. There's there's nothing.
So I
All
think
they
all
said is
these
that they hope MLS Cup is final is before the end of the year.
Huh.
Yeah.
December. Well, and the finals usually in November.
It's October, I believe.
Is it October?
Some-
I don't know.
Something
Something
like
that.
that.
But so who do you guys who do you guys think will win it all though? Who's going to win the trademark MLS is back tournament? Is there 2 tournaments? Is it the MLS is back tournament or how does that work?
It's just MLS is back.
Yeah, you can't say the
You
beforehand.
can't put the in front
That's a
of it.
no-no.
All right. Just
You
making
can't put
sure.
the.
So who's going to win?
Uh,
Walter, we know you're going to say LAFC, so we'll go ahead and skip you.
Looking at they got depth, so Miami.
I don't know. FC Cincinnati.
Houston.
We're talking professional teams. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Fine. I'll go LAFC just because that's the bill. I
Oh
have to
yeah,
play,
that was
right?
a real hard one for you to admit.
Yep.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cause you so much trauma. By
Yeah.
picking your favorite team to win. What's next? Do you hope Mexico does well at the next World Cup?
Yes, I do.
Jesus.
Weird, huh?
That's also something that I was sad about coronavirus is that they canceled the U17 World Cup.
Mhm.
Mexico is always the top 4 team in that tournament for some reason.
Yep.
I wanted to watch Cobra at the Euro 2020s, man. I was ready to watch Cobra
yeah,
score a
that's
hat
true.
trick on Germany or something.
England.
Yeah, just to piss off
Scored 2
Dan.
bangers against England.
You know
Mhm.
one.
He only scores bangers.
I don't think he's ever scored a banger in his life. I think they're all just pretty close to the box tapping. He did score he had a goal and an assist in the last game pre-COVID. And then from what I remember from the highlight, I had to watch the highlights after that one because your boy took advantage of dollar beer night or dollar
Hell
beer
yeah.
day. Luckily, there was a game afterwards, and there was pretty good attendance at that game afterwards because there was thousands of people sobering up
Yeah.
before driving home from Frisco.
And some of the places kept the beer going for $1. So
Dude, I had like $7 hot dogs that day.
Yeah.
It was embarrassing. And they were good too, because
Yep.
once the booze hits, usually
Mhm.
this is the most amazing hot dog I've ever had. My compliments to the chef. Walter and I had a pretty long talk during that. Who did SMU? Or they played SMU against North Texas, and
Mhm.
that was whenever Clark Hunt walked by, and he wouldn't
He
shake
tried
my
to shake
hand.
his hand.
This was okay. I have a conspiracy theory that I'm gonna throw out there now. Bear with me. The Hunts are responsible for the COVID-19 outbreak in the United States. Now bear with me here. Clark Hunt refused to shake my hand and said, "I'll give you a fist bump." And I was like, "Oh yeah, Corona." This is the most awkward thing I've ever said in my entire life. I've said way more smooth things to women than that. But so then like 3 days later was whenever the first case was announced in Texas. And guess where it was? Frisco, Texas. I'm just saying. They didn't pay to bring Franco Jara in early. You know why? Because they knew they weren't going to play any games. They're saying, "We're not paying you $2 million to bring him in early."
They knew. That's the same game. Was that the same? Yeah, that was the same game that Eden Hazard was here.
Yeah.
And I didn't have a media pass that day.
Damn it. Yeah, that's true. I
I was so mad.
should have applied for a one-game
That's my boy.
credential.
That's my boy.
Use like his butt.
It is a cute butt. I'm not afraid to say it.
Speaking of cute butts,
That too?
Timmy Chandler's been killing it in the Bundesliga for
Yep.
Eintracht Frankfurt, even though he's absolute shit when he plays for the national team. And he can
It's weird, huh?
He can go fuck himself, honestly. Him
Weston
and Bobby
McKennie.
Johnson. Oh,
Yeah,
dude,
Fat Joe.
Joe, there was a question. Someone asked something about who.
Yeah, so
you got it. Yeah.
which FC Dallas homegrown that has left would make the biggest impact on the current team?
Who's that one from?
That's from Christian Lozano.
Chuki's brother.
Weston McKennie.
Yeah. It would be Weston McKennie.
Yeah, probably.
And then if you
well,
don't-
I don't
Maybe
know,
Paxton.
Funes Mori at striker.
He doesn't count.
Why not? He played in the FC
He
Dallas
doesn't count.
Academy.
Yeah, I know, but he's. I don't know. I don't know. I put him in a different level.
He ain't even
Does
American.
Chris Richards count?
Yeah, I thought about him, but we're pretty solid at center back. I would love to have.
Yeah,
Cooper.
but if it's a rotational tournament, then we could use somebody like him that could play all over the back line.
He's so hard to tell because he hasn't. I think he's really good, but like the highest level we've seen him play is like German 3rd or 4th division. He needs to get some first team minutes before I can definitively say if he'd probably be fine in MLS. I'll say that he's good enough because at the U20 World Cup he was incredible. But yeah.
I mean, if he's strong enough to make the first 20
True.
players for Bayern Munich, I
True.
would trust him to play on our back line easily.
True. I think Alfonso
Yeah, but
Davies.
the answer
I know
is-
Schalke's
is
not doing well,
McKenna.
but yeah, Weston McKenna. I know
Shit, I
Schalke's
wa-
not doing too well, but
I've watched Schalke play a couple times. It might be an upgrade for him to move to FC Dallas.
Yeah, he lost about 7 games in a row.
Yeah.
I think they had 13
Bad.
games
It's
without
really
a win.
bad. Oh, maybe that was it.
Yeah,
It was
13
bad. I know
winless.
that
They've had
much.
some ties, but the first game was them just getting the shit kicked out of them by Dortmund,
hmm
and then
Jeez.
Dortmund had to go lose to Bayern and make the little bit of interest in the Bundesliga race go right out the door. But Joe, so you had one or two more fan questions, right?
Yeah.
fan questions.
What are you
The
implying,
only Francesco says, do you foresee Reggie or Paxton, etc., delaying any moves to Europe post-COVID?
I think I DM'd him on this one just to make sure I understood. So basically, it's just, do you think COVID will affect guys like that making a move? And honestly,
Yeah.
the answer is yes, because
Yeah.
teams are going to be, maybe trying to save a little cash, or if so they're not. It's going to be hard for FC Dallas to try to drive teams up on the price right now when teams
Mhm.
are not as well off financially as they maybe were a year ago. And so I don't think FC Dallas is in any rush, nor should they be, to sell those guys. I think they can hold on to them for another year. In Paxton's case, maybe a couple years. I think if Corona didn't happen, Reggie probably would be. We'd be talking about Reggie leaving in a couple weeks. I think
Yeah. If COVID hadn't happened, I think he would have been gone by October.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
for sure.
Or the rumor mill would have been.
Oh yeah, we'd be here.
Oh yeah, that would have started churning. So
He'd probably be
Yeah,
starting.
so
yeah,
I
I
kinda
give
feel-
Paxton.
For Reggie.
I
Paxton
yeah.
Paxton wants to stay for another couple of years, doesn't he?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't see
Yeah,
Paxton
yeah.
leaving for next.
I give him another 2 years. I mean, you got to factor in now World Cup cycles, international
Mhm.
competitions being derailed too, which are a huge factor in,
Yeah.
driving up the price or determining who wants who needs who. And I would say that defenders are probably more needed in the market than probably attacking players, midfielders, anything like that. So
And Jesus, I don't think he's probably similar to Paxton, where it's a couple years off before.
mhm.
I do think we were joking mainly about the sponsor thing. I think that might affect what kind of sponsor FC Dallas is going to pull. Don't be surprised if it's a company that's not very big, because maybe some of the big companies are like, yeah, we're not really in the market for spending however many $1 million to barely help our brand by being on the front of FC Dallas.
Yeah.
So some other people are saying stuff like, like Toyota, but I mean they're not going to pay for stadium rights and jersey rights. Dr.
No.
Pepper, well, they've got the deal with trash ass Pepsi for the next however many years. Sorry, my dad works for Coke. I've been trained to trash Pepsi at any given chance. What were you going to say, Joe?
And we also joke about like another MLM sponsorship, but that could be the case if those are the ones giving FC Dallas the highest.
Oh yeah,
highest
they're-
rating.
they'll just take whoever gives the most money for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I wouldn't blame. Yeah, especially
Right.
now.
Even if it's a PR wreck, I'm sure. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I think people are
For all the
underestimating how
14
much
fans.
a lot of MLS teams are probably hurting financially right now. Like teams like
Oh,
FC
yeah.
Dallas. Well, first of all, a lot of professional sports teams don't run a profit year to year, especially a lot of MLS teams like FC Dallas. FC Dallas's main source of income is their academy teams, and
Mhm.
I'm assuming they're not still charging. I don't know. I mean, they're still charging for tickets, so who knows? Maybe they are still charging academy kids. Maybe they already paid, and that's an upfront
Yeah, I
thing.
would put it past it.
Yeah, so they're sitting on child labor money right now. So like I said, I think I forgot. I didn't ever see it. Did FC Dallas lay off staff or furlough anyone or anything like that? Did y'all see anything about that?
I know there was price cuts. Sorry,
Pay cuts.
salary,
Price
yeah,
cuts.
pay cuts.
FC Dallas.
Price cut. Yeah, right. Never. Sorry, that's two things. That's two things you'll never hear in the same sentence. I know there was top to bottom, I think 25% from what I saw at some point. I think that was early on in the COVID.
Luckily,
so.
marketing won't be hit too hard because 25% of 0 is still 0, so they're going to be all right there. But yeah, players, like, yeah, don't be surprised if some teams may sell guys that they probably didn't want to sell yet, and they'll sell them for less than they're probably worth, just maybe out of desperation. You know, I wouldn't be shocked if we saw some stuff like that across the league. Players that are worth some money, like Albert Ellis for Houston, who Houston thinks they're gonna get like $7 million or $6 million for him. I think Anderlecht won him, but good luck with that. What's his nickname? Black Panther.
Yeah.
That's pretty badass. That's a pretty badass nickname. I'm not gonna lie. I'll give him credit
He's a
for that.
beast.
Yeah, our best animal is El Pulpo.
Who's that? Jesse?
Yeah, Jesse. That's what they call Jesse.
Oh.
Segway.
Segways are awkward, am I right? I guess we'll hit on that real quick. We didn't even think about that when we were talking about all the lineup decisions. Well, I guess Jimmy Maurer is probably going to be the starting goalie for the near future. I think it's pretty safe to say that.
Yeah.
Kyle Zobek will probably step in as the backup. And maybe that changes FC Dallas's transfer plans a little once the window opens. Obviously, we're not 100% on anything yet. He was suspended for now, and he was admitted into the substance abuse program. That's really as much as we know. Guys over at Dallas Soccer Show did a little research and reached out to Frisco PD, and they put out a statement. Basically, it's pretty graphic, describing that what happened, and it doesn't look good, to say the least. And if what they said is true, don't be surprised to never see Jesse Gonzalez play for FC Dallas again, or maybe for anyone in MLS, and probably it's the way it should be. I'll put it at that. Would not be surprised to see him sold somewhere for pennies on the dollar, or just released. They might have their hands tied a little bit to where the media scrutiny might just make them release him instead of selling him. And he just got a big contract too, so he just got a contract extension with the hopes of maybe being able to sell him for more money because he's tied up longer, similar to like Reggie Deal and stuff like that. But in Paxton. But that's kind of out the door.
It's a touchy, awkward subject to talk about, obviously. But I mean, it is what it is. I mean, like you said, there's no details on that. But even in this day and age, that's how it should be. Is whether or not the he's found guilty or whatever. That's still it looks bad on you as a person. It looks bad on you as a team if you were to hold somebody like that. And yeah. So.
One thing that's worth noting is the Hunts own the Chiefs, and Kareem Hunt, that's his name, right, Joe? For the Chiefs, Kareem Hunt, receiver. Is he the one who broke his son? He's like, oh no,
you're talking about Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek Hill, is that who's Kareem Hunt?
Hill's a wide receiver. Kareem Hunt is the one that kicked a lady in the hallway at a hotel.
Oh yeah, and it was on video and stuff, right?
That was really weird.
And he got signed to a big extension after that. The Hunts.
No, Kareem Hunt I think was on his rookie deal and got released, and then picked up. He got released from the Kansas City Chiefs and got picked up by the Browns. Tyreek Hill still plays for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Kareem Hunt. Okay, so they did release Kareem Hunt after
they released him.
A player. So historically speaking, not the best of looks.
But Tyreek Hill plays for the Chiefs, correct?
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill plays for the Chiefs.
And he's the one who broke his toddler's arm.
Yeah. But there wasn't any video evidence for that one. I don't believe.
Oh yeah, but then there's plenty of evidence that he did beat his girlfriend though. So that's it's a weird thing to where the Hunts' record is pretty inconsistent on how they deal with things like this. And I will say that guys who are big stars for the Kansas City Chiefs probably get different treatment than Jesse Gonzalez does for FC Dallas.
No, yeah. You're talking about a huge multi-million-dollar gap between salaries. It's easy to just brush off Jesse Gonzalez and remove somebody who helped you win a Super Bowl off of your roster.
Clark Hunt may not even know who Jesse Gonzalez was until this happened. So
maybe you should have told him when you try to do that awkward handshake.
Yeah, so oh yeah, Corona. I should have said, Jesse Gonzalez is the goalkeeper.
Jesus.
Any more fan questions, Joe? Was there one more?
No, that was it. Those were the questions. And thank you to everybody who asked a question.
Yeah, I appreciate that. It would have been a little awkward if I put that out and got 0 questions. I would have maybe had to hire some people to plant some questions, which is something I've learned in school that you're supposed to do when you do interviews or presentations. You got to plan a question.
Just one of KD's burner accounts.
Dude, that was a great tweet. That was so great. That was my favorite FC Dallas tweet of all time.
Yeah.
Do you see the guy who completely missed the point? I tweeted something about it. I was like pretending to be a KD burner. It was like not KD 154-378. And I was like, y'all just mad because y'all ain't won shit, unlike KD, who's earned every ring he's won. And some guy responded, he's like, earned? He joined to 73. I was like, okay, dude, you missed the point of the joke. But,
Yeah,
yeah.
I can't really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sarcasm or satire doesn't always, play over well. But, yeah, thanks for all the questions. It was cool to see, people seemed like they were excited to hear this stuff and hear us get started. I want to give a couple shout-outs, actually. I'll give a shout-out to Dustin at Dallas Soccer Show, who was incredibly helpful. Whenever I put out the tweet that we were starting a podcast, he reached out to me via DM and said, hey, welcome, and gave me a lot of help on this technical stuff. I gotta admit, I thought I knew a lot better than I really did. There's still some work I gotta do. We'll see how editing this goes. I've only done podcasts in person and never done them remote, and it's a lot more work remote. So he gave me a lot of help and a lot of advice. Also, shout out to Dan Crook. Everyone's our resident English friend. He's a Pro Clubs legend, as Joe and I know. Walter, you have a PS4, right?
I do.
You have FIFA 20?
No.
All right. Well, you're gonna buy FIFA 20 because it's probably like $10 now.
I'm 3 months away from FIFA 21. I'm fine.
It's gonna be like
if I made it this far.
Well, then you're gonna have to buy a PS5 too with FIFA 20.
Yeah, then I'm gonna have to buy a PS5. Well, I'm gonna do that anyway. I have a girlfriend who's gonna spot it for me. So.
Oh wow, way to flex on me and Joe.
Way to flex
Yeah,
on
hard flex.
everybody in this.
Hard flex.
So yeah, there's gonna be a GoFundMe going for PS5s for Joe and I. Look out for the SadFCDFans Patreon. I got some merch ideas we might throw out there. We had to look out for that to cover some of the costs of the podcast, and maybe go towards that PS5 fund. I got kids and shit. I have 10-month-old twins. I gotta buy diapers and stuff. I got student loan debt. Joe, you got student loan debt.
Yeah, but both of you have an OnlyFans, right?
Walter,
No, but if it's
you're
requested.
blowing my cover. I was gonna plug that at the end.
Join the industry.
The plates
You
are-
just use that blown up Matt Hedges that little thing that they were as your identity cover.
I wear my Hedges jersey and nothing else in all my videos. And I tie it up in the front and in the back just so all you see is the name on the back of it. But yeah, shout out to Dan. He also was helpful with some of the tech stuff and giving me some suggestions. Reach out to older guys for tech help because I'm a dumb millennial who doesn't know anything.
Youth.
But Walter, thanks for coming on to the inaugural episode. So whenever there's a SadFCDFans podcast trivia show, you'll be the answer that everyone is searching for. It's going to be like, who did Barry Bonds hit a 756 home run off of? Who was the first guest on the SadFCDFans podcast?
El Químico.
Walter El Químico. You have to put the Twitter name in there, too.
You gotta put the handle.
Walter, do you have anything you want to, plug?
Welcome. No, man, I don't have. Everybody always asks me about 19th minute, so it's
Guys,
this COVID thing doesn't help. Yeah, this COVID thing's not helping.
Yeah.
You and a handful of people have been harping the DMs about that ish. So it's it's kind of hard to go back into it now.
Yeah. That is
So-
the thing I will say. I after this, it's probably not going to be a weekly thing for now. Maybe until the season starts,
Yeah.
just because there's only so much to talk about for now.
Yeah.
A week from now, there probably won't be too many changes. Well, who knows? But so maybe once the games start kicking up, I'll try to be consistent with this and getting them out there. I never really want to be too much of like a game by game breakdown because, like I said, this is more entertainment than it is analytical stuff. There's plenty of other guys out there who can give you some real detailed player quotes and interviews. I don't think that FC Dallas is going to be too excited about giving any players or staff to us to interview. That's just my guess for now. But if anyone's listening from the club, I love you guys. I'm sorry. I take back anything I've ever said. Got to get the brand out there. And
Backpedaling, bitch. Stick to your word. Stick to your word. Sad FCD fan.
Yeah, you're right. I'm not sorry about anything I said. So 19th minute. Maybe we'll see a return one day, right, Walter?
Maybe, yeah. It's a very real possibility.
Look
you
at
know,
you little tease.
Nah, I know, right? No, man. Welcome to the foray. You are now an enemy of mine. So No, I'm kidding.
You
I got nothing but love for. I got nothing but love for you guys. You know that. It's fun to talk about the team. I like the setting of already having prefaced that I'm the peak SadFCD fan, and being a little bit unchained is also nice too. But this is what we need. This is what the club needs. It's I say this a lot, but FC Dallas isn't going to pay us to talk about them, so I mean we might as well just talk about it anyway. So why not?
Yeah,
But
exactly.
congratulations on your first episode. We made it. This is the finish line of your first episode of hopefully many. Joe.
Joe. Do you want to plug?
Don't let Matt run the show by himself because it's going to be a goddamn train wreck.
I've been building a brand, man. I'm about 6 years deep on SadFCD.
You have a good basis here. You have a good basis here, I think. So
I got more followers on there, and I have my own freaking personal account now, like almost 100. So I almost feel useless whenever I have to be my actual self, as opposed to FC Dallas. I don't even post about soccer on there anymore, just because I know like 4 people care. But Joe, you're probably the one that you might be a new face to some of the, or voice, I guess, to some of the listeners. So which Twitter are you on? Joe's known as the bad boy of Twitter. He gets suspended a lot for copyright because he posts a lot of reactions.
I get random DMCA strikes for no reason.
And he got
Damn,
suspended.
son.
And he got suspended on PlayStation for a week, but we don't have to go into that.
Yeah, let's not go into that one. My Twitter is just at MojoJoJoMTZ. It's just my name. But by finishing this first episode, I just want to thank Walter for coming through. He's been a real one since I've known him, and since I entered his DMs to play on his soccer team.
Look, man, we got better. I would have been honored to have you back. We got better, but
Yeah, that was a fun
We'll
time.
just-
But no, I just want to thank everybody that I just want to thank everybody that reached out and asked a question and is actually interested in this podcast. I just want to do this for fun, and Matt came through and knew that I like this. I like this club, even though they're very frustrating at times. So I'm just excited to do this, and I'm happy to do this with these guys.
Yeah, this was an idea we've toyed with for a while, and I'm glad that we finally.
Yeah.
I thought if there was ever a time to do it, why not now? Whatever. I'm just stuck at home and bored as hell during the week, and I've had podcast equipment just sitting in a box since I moved a year and a half ago. I was like, oh well, no, at least I can use these hundreds of dollars I spent to, entertain some people and hopefully have some fun. And yeah, thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you guys hopefully pretty soon. All right, see ya.
Later.